This episode is brought to you by Two Girls, One Voxel. Hello fellow Novians, my name is Rob and welcome to another episode in this tutorial series. Today we're going to be talking about ECUs, also known as emergency control units, also known as emergency controllers. It is this red thing here and it does not cost a whole arm and a leg. Like if we look at the market right now, emergency controller, they are going for $2,500. $2,500 for this little red thing that can save your ship. So it's best to invest in these things. I mean, buy 40 of them, whatever, slap them on things, they're good to go. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how they work and what they do. So first of all, how do they work? Well, originally the emergency controller, if you look at the description of it, it will say that it will land your ship automatically if you disconnect, or if you log off in space, it'll just stop your ship. The efficacy of it landing your ship automatically if you disconnect, I don't think that works because I have ECUs on all my ships and usually they just crash. So I would not go by the description. I would go by what they are generally used for, which is keeping you stationary in space and keeping you stationary if you have an AGG. So if you have an AGG ship and you do not have an ECM, you need to slap one of these on it. If you have a spaceship and you have an ACM and you don't have an ECM, you need to slap one of these on it. If you have just a regular atmospheric ship, it's up to you. They do wonky things in atmosphere. So how does this work? Well, you just slap it on a construct, you right click on it, you go to advanced, and then you do something. I think you have to be in build mode, so let's see that. Okay, so if you go to this thing and you click on it, you want to set auto configure. Where the freak is this thing? I just did this on another ship. Oh, you know what? This one is DRM'd, so it's not going to give me that option. So let me drop a new one down. So I'll just stick this one here for now. If I right click on this and I go to run default auto configure, you'll see that there is a section here that says ECU emergency control unit. Now, if you have a lot of elements, it's going to try to do a bunch of linking things. So if I click on this, it's going to say unable to complete. Oh, it must not have a lot of elements. If you have a ship with a lot of elements, it'll say unable to complete auto linking. That doesn't mean anything. It'll always link to the core first, and that's the most important part of your ship for this thing to be linked to. As far as other things to link to, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, let me pick this back up because it doesn't need to be there. All right, so I'm using the space elevator to demonstrate this because it is the fastest way to demonstrate that I have. And we're just going to turn this on. We're going to go up into space real quick while we talk about this. So let's go up. All right, so we're technically in space here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to smack the emergency stop here. And what's going to happen is this thing's going to come to a stop. And if you watch up here, I'm going to actually deactivate this as well. Okay, so if you watch up here, we are now falling at 140 kilometers per hour. We're going down to the planet. And that's not what we want to do. So if I click on this emergency control unit here, oh man, did I fuck it up by adding the extra ECM? I might have fucked it up. All right, that's on. Let's turn this off again here. Okay, no, I didn't fuck it up. I was just falling too fast for it to be of use. Okay, so the way this thing works is you want it on before you turn off your ship. So right now the ship is completely off. It's still going to use the atmospheric fuel tanks. It's still going to use the adjusters. So if your adjusters or your fuel tanks are empty or stuff like that, this thing's not going to save you. If you're far enough away from the planet that your thrusters or your adjusters can keep you in stable orbit, this will work just fine without any fuel. And if we look over here, we can see that the space engines are being used right now to keep us aloft, right? But if you look up here, you can see that we are at a stable height. We're not falling, we're not going up, we're just staying stationary, right? And if I turn this off, whoop, you can see we're starting to fall again, right? So that is how the ECU works. That is why you should always have it on while you're in space. In the case that you get disconnected or you just want to stop your ship and sit above the planet or something, take some screenshots, whatever, this will save you. Now with an AGG, it's going to do the same exact thing. You're going to get up to your AGG height. You're going to sit on top of your AGG. So, you know, if you have it set to like 1500 or 3000, you're going to get to where the bubble is. You're going to stop your ship. You're going to make sure that your emergency controller is on. And then you can get out of your seat and walk around. You can log off. You can log back on. You can go jump out of your seat. So when people talk about... Let me actually stop this thing before I go crashing into the planet. So let's tell this thing we can go back down. Let's go back down. Okay. Good deal. So when people talk about AGG ships and they're like, oh, if you log off and you log back on, the ship's going to fall out of the sky. If you have an ECM running, the ship will not fall out of the sky if you log off and you log back onto it. Similar if you get disconnected or anything else, or you fall off the ship, for whatever reason, you want to have one of these on your ship so that it doesn't crash and burn. So that is that was kind of the stopgap for AGG ships to always be hovering. If you're like, why do I always see these things hovering in the air and they're not falling out of the sky? But somebody said if I got off my ship and I got back on it, it would start falling. So what happens is if you have one of these on your ship and you go up to altitude and you're just sitting on top of the AGG bubble and you decide to go somewhere, you hop in your little skateboard or whatever, and you leave and you come back and then you land the skateboard on the ship. What can happen if you don't have an AGG, if you don't have the ECM running, is that as soon as you touch the ship, it falls out of the sky. Now, why that happens, I don't know. Coding, wizardry, demons, other things, stuff happens, right? So there's two use cases for what an ECM is and what an ECU is and what it does. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Now, if you hear this, right, you can see my adjusters are going crazy. This will happen if your ECU is on and you're landed on the ground. Why it does that, again, wizardry, demons, whatever. You can also see that my thrusters are firing for no apparent reason. But we are landed, we are on the ground, there's nothing going on. The other thing you'll see is that when you're landed, you might get out of your seat and your ship will start taking off again. So, yeah, you want to turn these things off when you're landed. And as you can see, everything just shut down. Again, I don't know why that happens, but just be aware that if your ship is doing crazy wonky things when you're landed and you're like, my ship is possessed, why can I not get out of the seat without the ship trying to leave? Turn off your ECU. So there you have it. That is the two basic use cases. I could show you how to do the AGG, but it's basically the same thing. You turn it on, get out of your seat, you're good to go, right? So like when I design our ships here, like the Athos over here, if you look on the bridge for the Athos, you will see that there is an ECU right here. And that is set up so that I can sit in the seat and I can still look over and turn that on and all the other good things, right? And then I can get out of the seat and just, hover around, or I can set my AGG to slowly climb. I can log off. I can come back later. We're not going to have any issues. Now, don't hold me to that. It's not a hard and fast thing that, oh, you'll never have any issues. You might still have issues. It is a beta. So be aware and be prepared. Otherwise, that is my video for today. If you have any questions, drop them in the discussion down there. If you have any requests for other videos that I haven't already covered, or you'd like me to cover something in depth, drop it in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to give that thumbs up. It really does help me and other content creators to get that feedback. And always, if you want to get future updates on videos and all that stuff, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to be notified every time I drop a video. So, as I say, until next time, I will see you out there in space. Stay safe, my friends.